Brightstorm has thousands of high-quality videos covering all major subjects. Please check out more at www.brightstorm.com.
When you're working with solving equations that have square roots, it's likely that you're going to come across some problems that have what's called an extraneous solution. Now, an extraneous solution is a pretty advanced idea. What it means is that I did all the algebra correct, I didn't make any mistakes, but I still got an answer that's wrong. I got an answer that when I check my work, it's not actually a valid solution. So I know your math teachers have been telling you this all along. Check your work, check your work, check your work. This is where you really have to check your work. You're going to see in all three of these problems I have extraneous solutions, meaning I'll be doing the math correctly, but I'm going to get X answers that don't make sense. Okay, so number one there, to undo the square rooting, I'm going to square both sides, so I have x plus 2 is equal to x squared. Then to solve that quadratic equation, I need to get it into standard form, meaning all equal to 0, and then I'm either going to factor it or use the quadratic formula. Luckily, this guy factors. So using whatever factoring technique you want to, go ahead and factor. Now the zero product property tells me that each parenthesis could be set equal to 0, and I'll have two solutions for x. X is equal to 2, and x is equal to negative 1. Well, I'm an A+ student, so I want to make sure to check. I'm going to start by checking x equals 2. Let's see what happens. Is it true that the square root of 2 plus 2 is equal to 2? Square root of 4 is equal to 2? Yeah, that's fine. So 2 is a solution. Let's see what happens when I check x equals negative 1. Is it true that the square root of negative 1 plus 2 is equal to negative 1? Square root of 1 equals negative 1? It doesn't. So some of you guys know that the square root of 1 could be 1 or negative 1, but here we're dealing with the principal square roots only, meaning the positive versions only. Square root of 1 is not negative 1, so in fact, negative 1 is called an extraneous solution. I could also check this graphically. I could graph y equals square root of x plus 2, and I could graph y equals x and find where those lines cross. I'm going to do that one really quickly. Y equals square root of x plus 2 is a square root graph that looks like this, only shifted over to the left, so it looks like that. And then y equals x is this diagonal line that goes to the origin. So you can see that those guys only cross in one place. They just cross right here, which is, I didn't use graph paper, but that's x equals 2. Nothing happens when x equals negative 1. See, they're not even close to each other. Let's try another one. Number 2. Square root of x equals negative 9. Now, right off the bat, some people can say, that's impossible. I can't square root a number and get a negative answer. But let's just say you were half asleep when you were doing your math homework and you tried to square both sides. So you have x is equal to 81. And then you go to check your work. Square root of 81 equals negative 9? Well, it doesn't. That's not the principal root. So in fact, this problem has no solution. X equals 81, I want to make sure I cross that out so my teacher knows that I know that that's not really an answer. Don't box that thing. It is not an answer. Let's try number 3. To undo that square root, I'm going to square both sides. So I have x squared is equal to 8 minus 2x. Now I'm going to get it all into standard form, meaning add 2x to both sides, subtract 8 from both sides so that it's equal to 0. And then if I'm lucky, this thing will factor. Nice. So my solutions, I think, are x equals negative 4 and x equals 2. Now that's from the zero product property. But I'm starting to see, particularly in this pencast, right, that there's some weird answers that are possible. I'm going to start by checking x equals negative 4. Is it true that negative 4 is equal to the square root of 8 minus 2 times negative 4? Let's see. Negative 4, is that equal to 8 plus 8 square rooted? No, negative 4 is not the square root of 16. It's not the principal root. So negative 4 is not a solution. Make sure it's crossed out. Make sure it's not boxed, because that's not part of the answer. What if I check x equals 2? Is it true that 2 is equal to the square root of 8 minus 2 times 2? 2 is equal to the square root of 8 minus 4? Yeah, that one works. So I do want to box 2. That is my solution. So in math, starting now, it's not only good enough to solve the equation, you also have to check it properly, because solving will sometimes give you extraneous solutions.
By 2. I can't do this with you two laughing back there.
Work it. Work it.
So if we had, no, that's not right, 3 coplanar points.
So have you ever gotten off an airplane?
That should be
Less than.
yeah. Dang.
Is it like 500 degrees in here or what?
All right, so when you're in chemistry class, you're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be starting over.
So as an example, we could consider like you've got a chain hanging from two sticks.